What's going on, good people? It's your man Rashad checking in for another edition of Southern Word Minute, and I'm with my boy S Rap. What's good, man?
Yo, what up, Rashad?
Man, chilling, man. So listen, tell the people a little bit about yourself and about your workshops.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm a hip hop artist, spoken word artist, and music producer. I've toured all around the world, from Uganda, Rwanda to Japan, and I've been able to perform in front of crowds the size of 30,000 people. And what I've learned is so many different things in how to be a professional artist. And I host workshops for young people on Wednesdays from 12 to 1, Thursdays from 2 to 4, and then Fridays from 12 to 1 to help them become equipped and grow their art and their craft so they can experience the same success.
Dope, man. That's dope. So listen, if y'all are interested in the workshop, go to southernword.org. You can sign up there. My man S Rap. All right, y'all. We out. Southern Word Minute. Peace.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is Frank from the library, and today we're going to be visiting lynda.com, which you can access with your library card at library.nashville.org. We're going to start on a learning path called Design a Comic Book. I'm going to take a look at some of the courses I think would be most valuable in creating comics and participate as I watch them. So if you've ever been interested in learning more about making your own comic books and stories, please join me. The first course we're going to take is called Learning Character Development and Design with Mary Jane Begin. This first section of videos is just an introduction to character development. The first video is called Instant Read, which is all about how the look of the character defines their personality. The second video is called Capture the Heart and Soul of a Character, which talks about the face being the focal point of the character, and emphasizes the importance of starting out with loose, expressive sketches to try to get that expression, and always keeping in mind that the physical characteristics will reflect the personality of the character that you're developing. Here are some of my initial sketches at developing a character based on what she's talking about. The next section of videos is called Elements of Developing a Believable Character. The first video is about archetypes. The next video is called Keep It Real, where she talks about looking to available subjects to draw inspiration from. She also talks about motion, gesture drawing, which I did a video on. She also talks about environment and how knowing the context for your character helps kind of flesh out what it'll actually look like in that context. Here I did some sketches of some bats. The next set of videos is all about character construction. The silhouette and shape of the character should separate it from the rest of the characters. She gives a kind of a basic introduction to proportions, and then she talks about turnarounds in the video after that, which is a viewpoint that shows the character from front, back, and side view along a grid. She talks about mapping out facial expressions. You're going to get the most believable facial expressions if you actually look at references, real life references. The fourth section of videos in this course is all about style meets substance. So getting into more developing your characters from just the accumulation of everything she's been talking about. So there are a lot of different ways that you can kind of stylize your characters, and she looks at different examples of how artists create unique characters that are also grounded in reality. Here are the characters that I ended up with, and that's basically all for this course. The next course we look at will be about putting these characters into a story.
Hey everybody, Ashley here from Studio NPL, and as you can see, I'm enjoying the outdoors today. and I just want to take a break from talking about Leave No Trace to share a little bit about what's inside my first aid kit. So regardless of whether you spend a lot of time outdoors doing sports or activities, or you even simply need a first aid kit for your home, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's in mine, and that might help you be more prepared. So first off, I keep mine in a Ziploc bag. It doesn't need to be fancy. So let's see what we have in here. First, I have, these are my more essential items. And so if I were to make my first aid kit much smaller and much more minimalist, I would just take this bag with me. And what this bag has in it is a hair tie, an emergency whistle, it's really loud, so if you ever get lost, people can hear you, a tampon, some athletic waterproof tape, so if you have some bandages you need to tape onto someone when they get hurt, and let's see, we have sting relief, and an alcohol prep pad, so say if someone gets a cut on them, you want to clean it and rinse it first before putting a bandage on it, and that way you're able to get any dirt or germs out before you're sealing it in with a Band-Aid or some other type of cover. We have some Tylenol or Advil, and then just different size Band-Aids. Some of these are little blister pads too, as well. So when you're out doing activities and you feel a blister. I also do a tiny roll of duct tape. You never know what you need duct tape for. And a lighter, in case we get stuck outside overnight and we need to build a fire, and some antacids, in case someone gets heartburn. Also, this is a cold compress, and to use these, you'll shake them. There is a little packet inside that you compress and you break. Shake it again, and then you apply it to an injury. Say if somebody got a bump on their head or sprained their ankle, you can use this pretty much anywhere and it will get cold. Now, in my summer first aid kit, this is what I would bring. If it's cold weather, I replace this with little hot hands pads. So if you get cold or someone starts becoming a little hypothermic, we can nip that in the bud pretty quickly. Now next, I have a bandage. This little stretchy bandage, it is, I can't even find the end of it. It's a little accordion shape and I can't find the end. Accordion style bandages, these work really well and they're multi-purpose. So if you just need something to tie something up, you don't have to use this for first aid. It's really handy to keep around and they're pretty cheap as well. Also, I keep an emergency blanket in case you need to signal someone, say you get lost. You can use this to use it kind of like a parachute, and it's able to reflect light. Or say in cold weather, if you're becoming hypothermic, you can use this and it reflects your heat and keeps you warm. So you can have an emergency shelter if you need it. Also, let's see what I keep in my Altoids tin. This is my foot kit. Now I use a foot kit to take care of my feet. When you're hiking, you can use stuff called moleskin, and it's kind of like a fuzzy felt material, and I cut out little donut shapes, so I'll have these ready. And say you're doing an activity and you feel a hot spot on your foot, and that is where there's friction happening with your skin, and you don't want that to happen. So whenever you notice that, put a piece of tape or some moleskin on it. I also have tweezers, a safety pin, more tape, and a tiny pair of scissors. Also, some super glue. And the last couple of things I have in here are some gloves. Especially during COVID, you want to have extra gloves around. And also this helps if someone gets cut and there's some blood or other bodily fluids around. This will help you protect yourself while you're helping someone else. And this is a little packet of goo. It's just some energy. So say if someone is just low on energy or blood sugar, this can help them keep going for a little bit longer. And also, these are 2 different sizes of information about first aid. So this one's just a little bit bigger, yet they have a lot of info in them. So if something happens, you can stop what you're doing, take a deep breath, and reference what's happening inside this little book, and it'll help you figure out your situation. Also, I use Technu for poison ivy. I am very sensitive to poison ivy, so I try to keep Technu with me at all times. And that's pretty much it. This is my first aid kit. So whatever you're doing, whether it's just trying to be more prepared at home or out when you're doing activities, just try to make sure you have what you need in case something happens. And if you have any questions, please let us know. Thanks. Have a great day.
Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your man Rashad checking in once again for another Southern Word Minute. And I am joined by another incredible writing mentor with Southern Word. This is Gabriela Gonzalez. Hey, Gabriela, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. So listen, why don't you tell the people a little bit about your workshop and what they can expect from it?
Yeah. So I teach a fiction workshop on Wednesdays at 3:30. And it is a weird, wacky time. And I think everyone kind of is like, oh yeah, my writing workshop is going to be really fun. Or, you want to go to a fun writing workshop. You also want to learn how to write. And you also want to meet people who are interested in that too. And so we play a lot of writing word games. We do a lot of prompts, a lot of writing together, a lot of sharing, and a lot of helping each other to grow. A lot of fun, weird discussions. We listen to Stacy's mom a lot, but yeah, that's kind of what it is.
That's dope. That's dope. So listen, so I know that your workshop is definitely one of the most attended workshops because people again have the opportunity to express themselves in a really cool way. And who doesn't like writing in this format, right? And so that's really cool that you are facilitating that for people. So again, tell us what day it's on and what time again.
It's gonna be Wednesdays at 3:30.
All right, Wednesdays at 3:30. So once again, people, another free workshop from Southern Word. So make sure you check it out. Go to southernword.org to get more information. Once again, this is Gabriela. I'm Rashad. This has been another Southern Word Minute. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Hey guys, it's your weekly book chat with Jessie. Hope you guys are doing well. So I've been thinking a lot about existence, life, all the things that we think about when we are unsure of what the future looks like. And one of the themes that has come up a lot is change, right? So everything is changing, but we're really unsure how it's changing. And that can be really stressful. So one of the great myths of our time is Camelot. And I used to really hate Camelot because it's all about civilization wiping out magic. And I love magic. It's also about shifting power from women to men, which, P.S., don't love that either. But if you go through the books and you start reading them and the legends, it's really interesting what comes out. It's all about how change can suck, but it also can be great, and how it's not mutually exclusive. It's typically a little bit of both. And so I wanted to recommend some Camelot books because I think they're great reads, independently of being about Camelot and change and all these bigger issues that I've been thinking about, but also because they remind us that change is always happening and that good things are going to come from all this change. Some bad things are going to come from all this change. We're going to lose some good stuff, and we're going to gain some bad stuff, and we're going to gain some good stuff, and we're going to lose some bad stuff. So it's really not going to be that horrible. And the real moral of the story is that people are kind of like cockroaches. We just keep going. We adjust and we keep going. I think maybe that's part of why we don't like cockroaches. We see them as a threat. But beyond that kind of gross analogy, I don't know why I went there. I'm going to give you guys 4 awesome Camelot book recommendations. The first one, Cursed. All right, so first of all, this is my favorite Camelot character. Lady of the Lake is the star of this. Nimue, I believe is how you say her name. I don't know. I make things up. I call her Nim. I love the Lady of the Lake. She's all about female power and just being a rockin' chick. What's really cool about this one is that, well, first, it's going to be a Netflix show very soon. Second, hold your breath because this is exciting. All you Batman fans out there, look, it's illustrated. Who doesn't love a book with pictures? I don't care like how old you are, how many novels you've read. A picture in your novel is gonna make it better almost every time. Like, some cool stuff is going on. So, you want to check out Cursed. Yes, most generic title ever, probably. So definitely make sure that it's the Frank Miller and Thomas Wheeler version. Library has physical and e-copies of this, so you can put it on hold and we'll put it in your trunk, or you can get it online. The second one, this is the second book. The first book is called Once and Future. This is so fun. Okay, so if you like fantasy, if you like outer space and sci-fi, if you like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, if you like sarcasm or anything funny, you need to check out this series. So it's a James Patterson series, which I have mixed feelings about. I always feel like, am I gonna like something by James Patterson because it's so commercial? And then you read it and you're like, it's so commercial for a reason. It's very accessible and pretty fun. So this series flips everything around though. King Arthur is a female and it starts in space with rainbow knights. What? Yeah, the Knights of the Round Table, they're rainbow knights. How awesome is that? So the first one's in space, total Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy feel, hilarious, fun, just good times all around. The second one, they go back in time to the original kind of traditional version of King Arthur. It's just a really good time. Lots of, you know, things are swapped around. Just fun. A little heavier. Oh, this is so good. So first, I highly recommend Kirsten White, just in general. Really intriguing writer. She does some really cool stuff. The Guinevere Deception is really interesting. It's a slow burn, like real slow burn, so you should know that going in. A lot of people either really love it or really hate it. So if you're just not feeling it, ditch it. But I loved this book. Guinevere is a changeling child, and we've got some Lady of the Lake connections, we've got Merlin, but the whole thing is she is protecting Camelot from magic with her magic, and they're essentially killing off magic. And it's such an interesting discussion of change and do things ever really die? Or maybe do they just change form? Or maybe do they exist in other spaces? And what's really good too is there's a great part where a woman is working magic. This is not a spoiler, by the way. It's like a minuscule 2-page thing. A woman who works magic gets kicked out of Camelot, and then because she's working magic, and they like kill you or kick you out, and she's in the woods, and Guinevere sees her, and she's like, I don't hold a grudge. Like, that's just the way Camelot is. That's what Camelot's got to do to be Camelot. I'm out here doing my own thing. I'm not hurting anybody. It's all good. So I don't want to exist in Camelot because of that. We're just different people, which is so great. You know, like not holding a grudge, just being able to let people be who they are and live their truth, for lack of a less cheesy phrase. This is a book 1, just like this is a series, this is a series. Cursed, I believe is a one-off. I can't remember. Cursed is really good, but it's been a hot second since I read it. Believe it's a one-off, but I could be totally wrong. Either way, it's Lady of the Lake awesome. And then, as our bonus book, this one is similar to the last one in that it's not for everyone. So, Song of the Sparrow. This is one that it's written in verse. So it's an epic poem. We do not have digital copies of this at the library. We only have physical. I highly recommend checking it out. You'll read it in probably 2 or 3 hours. It is so good though. I really didn't want to read it. Like books in verse, I'm like, ugh, okay, let's move on with our lives. But it turned out to be such a great retelling. Now what's interesting is that all these people pretend they know who the real King Arthur was or what all that was about, and they don't. This is one of those like historical fiction retellings. Arthur is not king, he is a leader of warriors, and it's got Tristan from Tristan and Isolde in it, and Guinevere. But what I really love about this guy or this book is that we have a really great connection among women, and we have the ability to change. So Guinevere kind of sucks. Like, she's the worst in this. I'm not a big Guinevere fan, actually, just in general. I like Lady of the Lake, and I like the people from Avalon. But she changes. And that's something that we all need to remember, that the world is changing around us, and it's okay for us to change as well. We can change our mind on anything that we want to change our mind on, and that's okay. If you believe one thing, and then 5 years later you believe something different, that's okay. And people don't get to hold that against you because you grew and you changed. And that's what's really important. And that's what all of these books are talking about, right? Like, we're constantly on the journey. And I think it's important that we remember that. So any of these books are going to support you in your journey through the changing minefield of the pandemic and our world right now. And if you need any other recommendations or ideas for books, shoot me an email through our reader advisory page. If you go on the Nashville Public Library page, it's in that little left-hand bar once you get into your account, and you can ask for some reading suggestions and it'll come to me. All right, guys, see you next week.